probiotic, and it has changed my life. I'm a fan of his ever since. I love this collection. Of his most legendary supermodels and more. The four queens of the runway. Fashion, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner. Librarian tonight, and that's because I came to read a bitch. Jaja's Atelier, bitch. Your eyes are not deceiving you, darling. The doll is back after almost a month. I know. I missed you guys so much, but your girl was going through some things, honey. I want to start the show. I want to get right into it because we had a lot to cover. I haven't been here in almost a month. God, I can't wait to talk. Anyway, I want to start the show off with something real. Let me light a little cigarette. So listen. For those of you who have been with the Atelier and you've been subscribers and you've been following me and listening to me babble on and on about all these issues in the world and in fashion and in entertainment, darling, you guys also know that I like to tell a little bit of my personal business. So listen, I suffer from ADHD. I ain't even gonna hold you, okay? The older I get and the more research is done about about people with ADHD is the more that I've learned about, I don't want to call it a disease, about ADHD and some of the newfound effects that it has on somebody's life. Ever since COVID, I go through these spats of, highs and then extreme lows. And I have been going through a low, honey. I can't tell you why. It just hits me every so often. Like I'll be going, and then I'm like burnt out. I want to show this video by a young creator that talks about, that put a lot of the oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of the symptoms and behaviors of ADHD all into one reel. And I'm sure that there's plenty more, but this one really spoke to me. Take a look at this.
I have ADHD, and that means when I achieve something, I don't feel any sense of accomplishment. I only feel a mild sense of relief that it's done. I'll get obsessed with someone or something and disappear from friends for months at a time. I have a minor commitment later on tonight, so I won't be able to relax all day. I have a really strong sense of justice and fairness, which is why I react so strongly when people do mean things. My hyperactivity is in my head. It's internalized. It's like I have 5 squirrels on speed barreling around up there. I was never physically hyperactive, so the doctor misdiagnosed me with anxiety. Waiting for a slow talker to finish their sentence is excruciatingly painful for me because I already guessed the ending in the first few seconds. I'm highly driven and overachieving, but I'm also chronically overwhelmed and always on the brink of burnout. I sit on my best friend's couch once a month to give them moral support so they can clean their house. I'll excitedly call people, but then ignore their attempts to call me back because the dopamine has left my body. I often try and Google something, but then forget what I was about to Google, so I look in my most recent apps to see if I can find what triggered the thought, but then I get distracted in the apps and forget all about Google.
When I saw that, I was like, oh my God. And I've seen other posts about ADHD and, with the new algorithm being as it is, the more you look at the same, the same kind of reels with the same subject, more and more pops up. I haven't been on medication for ADHD since I was 15. And I remember how the medicine I've taken, Ritalin, Dexedrine, and Adderall from the ages of 4 till 15. I think Adderall was the last thing I was on. And I didn't like how the medicine made me feel. So now I'm kind of, and after I turned 15, my dad had passed away. We were in a new city. Well, a new state, because this ain't hardly a city, honey. We were in a new state, a new town, and, it was a lot of moving parts. So, I decided then, I talked to my mom about it. I don't want to be on that medication. I don't like how it makes me feel. So now that I'm an adult and it's hard trying to navigate what works for you when you have ADHD and you're a grown person and you're not on medication and you have no desire to be. So that's what's been going on with me. Amongst other things, trans issues are coming back up in sports, which is really fucking ridiculous. We're going to get to that. All the stuff with Trump. I have not really been paying attention to the news like that. I have taken a complete break. Going to the park, doing a little thrift shopping without, having the camera and, recording it all. Just really taking a breath, stepping back and enjoying life and just moving at a slower pace. And, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner, honey. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to come back. I'm ready to talk to my peoples, honey. So listen, before we get into anything really, really heavy, we lost an icon last week in, every millennium. If you don't know her name, you know her face. May she rest in peace, Hayden Panettiere. I actually just saw her on The View, I think maybe 1 or 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. She had a new memoir coming out. She talked about how she struggled with postpartum. Allegedly, I believe she struggled with addiction of alcohol and prescription substances. I'm going to say allegedly. Hayden Panettiere leaves behind I don't know the age, but she leaves behind a daughter who she gave full custody of to her ex-fiance. I can't remember his name either, but he's an MMA fighter. Here's a picture of all three of them, I believe, when they were together. The little girl actually lives in Ukraine because that's where her father is from. It's been a whole lot of back and forth about what happened to her. In her memoir, on her press tour, she talked about, her struggles within the industry, being a woman, a female, a young woman, to be exact, in this industry. And, when you see these people on screen, when we were growing up, we had no idea the backstories of what these young people were going through at the time. And it's just really, really heartbreaking. And not only is it kind of heartbreaking, but it's also, it just takes the good memories that we have of them in our favorite movies and our favorite TV shows, it kind of steals it from us. You know what I mean? I loved her all throughout her career. I remember her in commercials. I remember her in Remember the Titans. She was a dynamo actress. But the role that I remember her for the most, that I loved the most, I have to say, was when she was on the hit drama series Nashville. That role, watching her play that role for me, I was like, oh, Hayden Panettiere is in her grown woman bag. You know what I mean? So, rest in peace, Hayden Panettiere. You will be so missed. So many other of her peers have done tributes on social media, including Solange, who she co-starred with in Bring It On Again, which is a cult classic amongst millennials. So I was really saddened to hear that. So rest in peace, Hayden Panettiere, and I'm so sorry for everything you had to go through. Also in the news. So listen. Strategically, the Met has announced its theme for next year's Met Gala. The theme for the 2027 Met Gala is John Galliano Horizons, celebrating the almost 4-decade career of the iconic and controversial British designer. The event is scheduled to take place on Monday, May 3rd, 2027. What do I think about this? I got a few DMs and a couple of emails. I was shocked when I checked my emails last week because, that's when I was gearing up to get ready to come back to you guys. Yes, honey, it's been a week in the making. What do I think about it? My first thought was, in the history of me following the Met Gala, I never remembered them announcing it this early. Which is why I say strategic, because, Vogue and the Met Gala faced a lot of flack for having Jeff Bezos, and the Bezos bimbo basically headline and fund the thing with all that's going on with them, the AI data centers, them buying all this farmland, them, destroying Italy with their bullshit ass wedding, because they really don't love each other, okay? And all of that. And then to have, now listen, I love John Galliano's work. I'm a huge fan of John Galliano. And a lot of people were complaining because of his history with, anti-Semitic and racist comments. Back in 2000, he had 2 incidents back in 2010 and 11 at a cafe in Paris. The incidents led to his firing from Christian Dior and a subsequent trial where he blamed severe drug and alcohol addiction. Now, it's been years since then. I wasn't as into fashion back then. I was always into fashion, but I wasn't into the gossip around it all. But I'm sorry. I think he deserves it. But there's a lot of moving parts around John Galliano. The name alone is very, 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 it's like walking on eggshells around John Galliano, if you know what I mean. Like, a lot of controversy, but I do think he deserves it. He's, one of the last of the Mohicans. Terry Mugler is gone. Alexander McQueen is gone. They did one for Karl Lagerfeld. Azadine Alaya is gone. Who I thought would have been a better choice if we were going to make the Met Gala a tribute would have been Andre Leon Talley, for crying fucking out loud. But we're not even going to beg for that anymore, honey. You know what I mean? And I'm still kind of torn on whether I even need to be indulging in the Met Gala. Quite honestly. I think Anna Wintour and Vogue is kind of losing their thunder. Have you seen the September issue? Jesus Christ. It's Kaya Gerber and some other guy on the cover. It looks like, an Old Navy, an Old Navy back to school sale ad. So many iconic collections from John Galliano. So many iconic red carpet moments from, different celebrities over the years in John Galliano's original designs. I don't know. And then there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in the world. With everything else that's going on, who knows if there's even going to be a Met Gala in 2027. We might all be out of water, food, and electricity by then. I don't know. I'll keep in touch with you on this story. Anyway, on to the next thing. So, listen. Our girl Rihanna is the cover star of the September 2026 issue of Elle USA. In a post by Elle USA, they said, the fact that she is the new face of Dior Beauty's Dior J'adore Intense is no small feat, and it's a new milestone in her long-standing, groundbreaking relationship with the Maison, which started in 2015 when she became the first black ambassador for the brand. There are also the endeavors that carry her name, Savage Fenty, which reflects her unique style and ferocious sex appeal through lingerie and Fenty Beauty, a much-needed injection of inclusivity into makeup and skincare, yada, yada, yada. She is styled by Jaleel Weaver, her longtime stylist, and she is photographed by Inez and Vinud. Can we get into the images, honey? It's Rihanna. It's like, much like Zendaya, the girl can do no wrong in an editorial. Now, personal style, she's got 3 kids now. I don't think, having a style moment on the street when she's going to the grocery store is her main focus. And it definitely shows, in her everyday style. I'm not knocking it. She still looks great, but it's not the Rihanna of yesteryear. You know, people evolve and priorities shift. But honey, my favorite image, the cover, is everything. I love this right here in the fur stole. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. This one right here. I also love this black and white one right here. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah. Huge congratulations to Rihanna, even though we are waiting for more music. Well, y'all are waiting for more music. We don't need another album from Rihanna. If she does another album, let that be the last, just to shut the people up and keep on being the entrepreneur, you know, beautiful black excellence businesswoman that you've been being. And have some more babies, you know, and live happily ever after with A$AP Rocky. Let him go out and make albums and do all of that stuff. She's earned the right to sit home and not be bothered. Anyway. So, listen. One of the other reasons, like I said, I've been off of social media, is because of this revolving, I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I got this read right. Is this revolving argument, disdain, and unwarranted public attacks of trans women over the past few weeks, most notably with the WNBA deciding if they would support allowing trans women in the league. Well, star player, and I'll use the word star loosely, Sophie Cunningham stated in an interview that she does not and would not support trans women in the WNBA. There are no trans women that are trying to be drafted in the WNBA, and there are no trans women playing in the WNBA. So I don't get where that came from. I think somebody asked her about it. I don't even know why it's a question. Again, there are no trans people anywhere in the WNBA. Nowhere. Well, after all this, some non-factor ass motherfucking NBA job jigaboos want to protect women and protest by claiming that they are transgender. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all know it's been a month since I've been back. You know, I have my little hiccups now. So, listen. After the white girl said what she said about, you know, not supporting trans women in the WNBA, which again, there aren't any, and there aren't any trying to get in. NBA player and jigaboo Royce White decided to protest in what he calls a protection of women by claiming that he is also trans. He calls himself a trans black lesbian. He's also running for some Senate seat, I believe, out in Minnesota. He's MAGA. Who cares? But I just wanted to talk about this story because I found it so interesting. Out of all the things to argue about, we want to argue about, you know, rights for women in, you know, women's sports, when they don't even get paid a quarter of what the NBA players get paid. And none of you spoke out against that, but here we are. So, Royce White, he even went the extra mile saying, my wig is in the mail. Here's a picture of him with a wig on. Now my trans black lesbian woman journey can begin. Just a bunch of bullshit. Completely making a mockery of trans women for no absolute reason. And a lot of you niggers swallowed it right on up. Y'all don't understand what he trying to do. It makes perfect sense. Y'all missing the point on purpose. So here is a clip of him talking. I guess he got some kind of podcast or something. Doesn't anybody? So take a listen to this.
These neo-colonial racist white men, it's a farce. All you need is a synthetic wig, and yeah, this is a wig, but it's my hair because I pay for it. It's a wig, but it's mine because I pay for it, okay? And if you don't give me my props, if you don't tell me that I'm slaying tonight, if you don't say yes, queen, then you're transphobic. And you really need to take a look in the mirror and figure out why you have so much hate. In fact, as a black man, I never experienced as much hate as I've experienced in you know, what is it? 100 or so hours of being transgender. I've been transgender for, you know, about 5 days. I've never experienced so much hate. So much hate. Trans on trans hate. I got a bunch of transgenders in my inbox threatening to kill me. I had a transgender say, I'm going to find you and I'm going to pistol whip the piss out of you.
I hope they do. So, it's a bunch of other clips. I'm not going to play them. Let me read this jigaboo job turkey ass bitch real quick. This tap dancing free range porch monkey job jigaboo ass motherfucker. First of all, black trans women are getting killed at an alarming rate. This is nothing to joke about. That's number one. Number two, you don't give a fuck about women. You don't give a fuck about women. And I'm going to get into that after I say this. That's number two. Number three, this is something that you always wanted to do, honey. The fact that you are a alleged heterosexual man and you know the difference between synthetic hair and human hair. You're using synthetic hair as shade, honey. Honey, this is something that you always wanted to do. All of you Republican, in my personal opinion, all of you melatonin MAGA Republicans, white, black, whatever, all of you melatonin MAGA men are either butch queens or you're dying to take you some hormones, pop some titties off your chest, and put a fabulous wig on. You're dying to be one of the dolls. Dying. And this was your only opportunity because you're too much of a pussy to go after the life that you really want to live. So this was your only chance to finally be able to put that wig on, honey. But might I suggest a 1B would look so much better on you. Or maybe a 4. He talks about how he wants to protect women, yet and still, hold on, let me pull it up here because I got to get this right because I'm not trying to get sued. You know how these Republicans are. They're very litigious. Yet and still, a Minnesota judge allegedly issued a sweeping protective order barring the former NBA player and political candidate Royce White from contacting his ex-wife for 50 years and their teenage son for 2 years, following credible findings of physical and verbal abuse. White has denied the allegations. Of course you have, girl. And appealed the decision. It's always you niggas that have been caught beating women, allegedly. Abusing children, allegedly. Really not liking women, allegedly. That always seems to get caught up in all this tranny talk. And, now on to the black people who seem to have such an issue with trans people that are scapegoating trans people. I have seen you guys with the Sydney Star situation. You lump us all in together with that. The Saucy Santana situation with the Quiet on the Creek, that viral Quiet on the Creek where he was dancing with the little girls innocently in the background. You lump all trans people in with that. I'm going to tell you what it really is. And I don't know if I've ever said this way before. But let me put it to y'all this way. The reason why you have a problem, you don't have a problem with trans people. You know trans people aren't your issue. Because they weren't an issue 20 years ago. Trans women were not an issue 20 years ago. They weren't an issue 30 years ago. Nobody was talking about trans people when I was growing up. I didn't even see a trans. The first time I ever saw a trans person, I was at a bus station in Atlanta, Georgia. The first time I ever saw an actual trans woman. And I was 13. I might have been younger than that. The real problem is a lot of y'all are too motherfucking pussy to sacrifice your comfortability to go after the real person, the real culprits who is making all of our lives a living hell. That's what it really is. Instead of complaining about trans people, listen, and I'm about to go into a whole tangent. This is how we're gonna, listen, we're about to get into it. Black people, we don't, collectively, we don't trust white people with our food. We don't trust white people with our kids. We don't trust white people with our money. But somehow we trust the religion that they gave us, their version of Christianity that they gave us, to, how do I word this? With our, to take us to the pearly gates. We use their transphobia, we use their homophobia, we use their classism, we use their capitalism. A lot of us have become too comfortable pointing the finger at innocent people while your real oppressor is laughing at you as they keep their foot on your motherfucking neck. And you know it. It's been going on too long for you not to realize what the fuck is going on here. It's been going on too long. Look at what they're doing in Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana has been without power for almost 2 weeks. Now, Memphis is without power. The blackest part of Tennessee. Your real oppressor is attacking you from every motherfucking side, yet and still you still want to stand up on your soapbox, on your social media profiles, and talk about trannies. Chicks with dicks. And for as much as everybody in this country seems to have a problem with trans women, why is it the number 2 most searched porn category in the country? There are black people being lynched all across the motherfucking Winn-Dixie. There was a man who was lynched in broad daylight on a residential street an hour away from me in Raleigh, North Carolina. There are black women missing. There are black people being attacked in stores. We just saw the young man at the Walmart, the special needs young man, being almost choked to death in front of the Walmart. These AI data centers are making black communities sick. And it's levels to it because black folks are too pussy. The majority of black folks are too pussy to go after the real oppressor, so they fight with the gays. So they attack the gays. White people are too motherfucking pussy and too arrogant to admit that they fucked up in voting in the words of Rosie O'Donnell, who I'm going to talk about real quick in a minute, Mango Mussolini, who is the one who is actually taking their jobs, who is actually destroying their farms that they've had in families for motherfucking generations, who are ruining the cattle. The way you crackers ran up there on January 6th because he wanted to throw a temper tantrum because he lost the election. But you won't run up there to fight for your rights? Your government has got you fucked up. Your government has got you fucked up. And none of you, the majority of you, are not willing to do anything about it. That's the real issue. And it's most disappointing in black folks. Because crackers are gonna crack. Okay? I see the farmers complaining about what this administration is doing to the land that they're working so hard to maintain. They don't have the money to maintain it. Well, you shouldn't have voted for them. You wanted all the Mexicans gone? They're snatching them up. They're still snatching them up. ICE is still snatching up immigrants, whether they're here legally or not. Whether they're criminals, rapists, and drug cartels or not. They're snatching up anybody black and brown. The food is poisoned. Everything is getting so much worse. Did y'all? And y'all are so shocked. I read Project 2025. I ain't shocked. A little nervous? Yes. Shocked? Definitely not. I did my research. We're right on motherfucking schedule here. I saw one of the farmers on social media today, and I'm going to take this time to really speak from the heart. I got 20 minutes left. I saw one of the farmers on social media today talking about, how they're doing the beef and, everything they're doing with. I said in the comment section, I said, what you white, Midwestern, evangelical farmers that voted for him need to do is humble yourselves, apologize, and extend an olive branch, and really, really be sincere about it. Really be sincere about it. Because deep down, whether you want to admit it or not, you're sitting up here complaining. You know what really caused this. You know that your actions caused this. And you know because of those actions and how vocal and happy you were about the action. The rest of us don't trust you. Because if the rest of us trusted you within our different communities, wherever these farms are, if black and brown people trusted you, they would have no problem working on your farms and helping you. Black people would have no problem cutting out the middleman and coming to you and buying some apples and onions and oranges and some beef. And if everybody would humble themselves and come together and realize who the real enemy is, if we could all as a society really trust each other, we wouldn't have this issue. It wouldn't be no middleman. We don't need them. They need us. And they know that. And that's why they use these tactics like racism, religion, homophobia, transphobia, economic racism, social racism, and all of these little things that we're on social media arguing about right now. They are sitting back and going, thank God they're falling for this shit, because they don't see what's coming. The Colorado River is dried the fuck up. The Colorado River is supposed to feed 7 states with water. That's millions of people. I saw the picture of the Colorado River. I could literally walk through it and not even get my ankles wet. And here we are arguing about a non-existent problem because everybody is too pussy to face what the fuck is really going on. I want to show you a clip of this comedian who is also a streamer. His name is Damon Darling. He's been going viral for paying for the groceries and purchases of customers. And this is what community looks like. I got it, you don't, okay, don't worry about it. Because we got to do this together. Because they might not have the money to buy their groceries. He does. But he might not have the knowledge if the time comes to start his own farm, and they may. Every hand in this country washes the other. It's not one link in this country that's not important. From the bus drivers, to the teachers, to the janitors, to the fast food workers, to the gas station attendants, to the CEOs even. Every motherfucking hand in this country washes the other. So I'm going to show you. So he was buying groceries, and I believe this is the second time that they have banned him for Walmart for doing so. Let me play this clip for you guys real quick.
But you know you're not allowed to. Why ain't I? I'm just buying people's groceries.
I know, man.
You're not allowed in any Walmart.
Well, actually, the police officer said that isn't true though.
That's not what the police have to say about it. This is Walmart.
And the store manager said I could be in here. Do you know who I am? Mm-hmm. Do you want me to leave?
No.
Oh, okay. You sure? I don't want no trouble. I don't want no problems. Thank you.
All right, so you guys are both going to get issued trespass warnings from Walmart, okay? You guys are no longer allowed to go to any Walmarts, any Sam's Clubs, or any Murphy gas station for life, okay? So that is a life ban from Walmart.
Who's issuing that?
What?
Who's issuing that?
Walmart is.
So what? What'd we do?
That's any private business can. I didn't go to Walmart. I just came and.
Well, they can't just do it for no reason.
Yes, I can.
Even if we're not there.
They don't have to have a reason.
Can I appeal that?
What?
Can I appeal?
You can call corporate. Yeah,
I'm definitely appealing that. I'm gonna give it to my lawyer. Have a good day, buddy.
You as well.
Disgusting. Now, from what I heard, Walmart was saying, oh, well, we don't want anybody streaming inside Walmart. But you have a creator program under Walmart. I got an email about the creator Walmart program. Because what he's doing is cutting out the middleman. And I don't even think he's really cutting out the middleman. Y'all still getting the money. He's not stealing it. But that's not enough. And to be quite honest, it might actually draw business into Walmart. I used to work at Walmart when I was 16. That was actually my first job. But I don't shop at Walmart like that. I don't trust the meat. I don't trust the produce. You know what I mean? When you go in there, you know, it's a glass skin facial mask that I love. They've been selling it for 2 years now. I get it every month. All of a sudden, it's gone. You can't ever find shit when you go into the Walmart. You go in there Thursday. You know, these nails, I constantly have to buy 5 and 6 packs at a time because these are the nails that I usually like to wear, which I just did, you know. Honey, to get all of this back looking like this, it took a village, honey. I laid in my bed for 3 days straight, honey. I was really down, let me just tell you. Anyway. I can never find them. I've told you guys this countless times. So he's actually doing Walmart a favor here. But because it's not just about greed, it's about you want to see people suffer. Everybody wants to see, anybody who is suffering wants to see the next person suffer. Civilization is not going to last much longer like that, with that mentality. It's not. It's just not. Everybody needs to humble themselves. Because I'm afraid it might already be too late. I started watching the news 3 days ago, and I'm like, what in the fuck? No news coverage over the stuff that's happening in Gary, Indiana. I am praying for those people. There's a girl on Instagram, she's really on TikTok, but she posts her stuff on Instagram too, who has an autistic daughter. She hasn't had electricity in 2 weeks. She doesn't want to leave her home, but she might have to. And where is she going to go? There are elderly people who need medication. I'm thinking to myself, I have a family member who is on dialysis. What happens if that happens here? There's so many recalls on food. You know, the government, RFK Jr., the head of the health of this country, who snorts cocaine off of public toilet seats, his words, not mine, okay, has been so lackadaisical and lazy and so ignorant about, you know, how we handle food in this country. Hell, they're finding glass in the motherfucking popsicles. It's not by accident. It's by design. It's in Project 2025. People are wising up to what they're doing to this processed food. Since when how you fuck up blueberries? I love blueberries with some almonds mixed in. Haven't had it. Thank God I live in a rural area where there are farmers markets and local farmers who, aren't making money because the grocery stores aren't buying their stuff all the time. So they're outside of my job selling, lettuce and watermelon. And, a lot of black farmers around here where I live in Southern Virginia, that you could buy from. Thank God. But it's just ridiculous. Everybody needs to humble themselves. They're talking about deploying the National Guard and having ICE at the ballots for the midterms in November. And they're not playing. They're not playing. We have to be prepared to be uncomfortable. I've said it here before. I mean, it's nothing else I could say. Everything else is a fucking distraction. Focus on the people that you are paying to keep guard, to keep your water safe, to keep your electricity on, to keep your food safe, to keep the money flowing the way it should, to keep the healthcare flowing the way it should, which, by the way, America has never done. Before I move on, if you want to donate to the people of Gary, Indiana, who really could use it right now, there's a singer and life coach, and I believe he's a comedian too, named Chester Gregory. This is his profile. I have donated, and I'm going to be donating again in a couple of days, but I have donated. If you just hit his link me on his profile, it'll take you right into where you can donate. It's easy and it is official. It's not a game. Like I said, I've donated to it. So if you want to donate, just go to this Instagram profile right here and hit his link in, and it'll take you straight to it. And it's very easy to donate. I just wanted to put that out there because, like I said, you got to put your money where your mouth is. We never know when Gary, Indiana might be up and Virginia might be down. And I might need their help. You know what I'm saying? Again, every hand in this country washes the other. Now, I talked about Rosie O'Donnell. I want to end on two good notes. I talked about Rosie O'Donnell making her grand return to the talk show circuit, honey. Back in the 90s, Rosie O'Donnell had her own talk show. It was daytime. She was also on The View. Yeah, listen, I lived through that iconic fight between her and Elizabeth Kuntleback, who used to be the Republican cunt on The View. Now she's just a cunt. But she returned, guest co-hosting for Jimmy Kimmel Live. And I have one of her opening monologues. Take a listen at this.
And if you thought the president hated Jimmy Kimmel Live when it was hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, buckle up, people, buckle up. I've been living in Ireland for the past 2 years because of Mango Mussolini. Hi, I know you're watching. I'm back in the spotlight, all thanks to President Oompa J. Loompa, who is watching us this evening from inside a catering cart. I couldn't have done it without you, sweetie. You brought me back, just like you did with fascism and the measles. Special hello to those of you watching from home and from the White House. But I do have some bad news for President Petty Roosevelt. That's all I'm going to say about you tonight, sweetheart. You got to realize it's time to hang up your wig and let Natalie tuck you in. Thanks to everyone who's been watching this week, especially the hungry hypocrite in the White House. Kind of weird to think he spent more nights with me this week than Melania. Most of all, I'd like to thank Jimmy Kimmel for inviting me to do this and for reminding everyone that we have the right to free speech in this country, whether Orange Voldemort likes it or not.
I was so elated to see Rosie back. I am a huge fan of Rosie O'Donnell. Those of y'all who are my age, the millennials, y'all remember when she used to host the Nickelodeon Kids Awards on Nickelodeon every year. God, I miss Rosie. She is a spitfire who, she's been warning us about Donald Trump for years. years staying on his neck. So welcome back, Rosie. I hope to see more of you. But before I close out the show officially, I'm so glad to be back. I really missed y'all, but I want to end things off with a positive story that proves that, you know, racism is something that's taught. And I have a video here for you guys. I want to make sure I say the names right. So this is a video that came across my feed of two friends who are both autistic, Miss Dallas and Mr. Owen. Take a look at this.
Why he doesn't? Owen doesn't need a vest. Peace, Alice. I was trying to get him a water. Aww. Did you see Owen?
I saw that. It almost brought a tear to my eye because it reminds you.
Bye, Owen.
None of this stuff really matters. It's all bullshit, and it's all taught, and it can be reversed. I love you guys. It's good to be back. Ciao.